Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, May the 7th, 2020. It's another Technically Awful podcast. We've got another great show lined up for you today. Thank you all for coming by to listen. If you've ever been here before, we talk about video games. We talk about television shows, pop culture memes, and occasionally nothing at all for like 3 hours at a time. It's kind of impressive. Nobody else has actually been able to do it as well as we have for a decade now. It's kind of our superpower. Mr. Black.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just
I just caught you in the midst of a text on your phone. It looks serious. Your brow is furrowed.
It's not that serious.
It's craters between your eyebrows right now. I can see it's intense.
It's more me straining my eyes trying to see shit. No, today's good. I got the rental rented. So because there was another, so we did 3 of them in a month. So I'm over the whole.
You're caught up.
Fine. I'm caught up. I'm done. I don't have to do anything for like at least another 6 months.
Nice.
So that's good. So that just got done. I've got their lease here, so I just gotta call them and scan that and send that out to them right after the podcast. Actually at 6:30. So we actually can't go that. We can't go.
We can't do 3 hours today. A lot of that's my fault. We're 45 minutes behind because I got caught up trying to fix some shit on the website, trying to hunt down some rogue code, dicking it up a bit, and was getting some help after I live streamed the Xbox event thing, whatever the hell you want to call it today, where they showed off the third-party games. And so we'll be talking, or I'll talk briefly about it. It is not that much to talk about, but I'll mention what my thoughts were anyway. It wasn't my fault. So yeah, Hallie found the first bug, then we fixed that, and then it spiraled wildly out of control.
It went tits up.
But yeah, that's just fine. How was your week in general? Other than that was good. I saw lots of pictures. Same old shit. I get pictures, updates from your wife, from Kai in various outfits and locations.
He's been wearing your Let's Play Random sweater.
He fits it now. I was going to say, it probably fits him properly now.
Yeah, it does.
It's a little ahead of the times, but I saw that. She was out there with, what the hell was that thing? It was like a push cart thing of some kind?
Yeah, my parents got him, it's not really a stroller, but it's I guess right now it sort of is a stroller. It's like a fancy stroller. It's like a sports stroller. And then it can transform into a bicycle that he can, or a tricycle, with the training wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can take those off, and then it's a bike that he can drive as a bike.
Interesting.
It's like a 3-in-1 sort of thing. And the whole thing kind of shifts and moves depending on how much he grows. So as he grows, this thing can expand so that he can keep using it for a while.
It's the future, Jeff. It's fancy shit we never had.
No.
You had a bike and it was too small? Tough shit. You're using it for a while. You lost the seat, don't hit any bumps, or you're going to get a new asshole.
Yep.
That's what we had to do. My week was literally, I haven't streamed since the podcast last week. We finalized the Final Fantasy VII Remake video review portion. Got done on Saturday. And then I have been doing between 10 and 12 hours a day, nonstop, website work to get the website ready because I didn't want to launch the review until the site was done. And the site is basically done, but there's a relatively important piece that I will shorten down into It's how it delivers images and the type of images it delivers. As a website owner, the first thing that you end up discovering really early on is that you want everything to be very small because big things cost lots of money. And so image sizes want to be fucking tiny. And so I'm the last piece that we're trying to figure out is this delivery of Google's new image type called WebP. So instead of a JPEG or a PNG, it's called WebP, and they're 1/3 the size of an optimized JPEG file, but looks exactly the same. Dope. So what that means is, at the end of the month, when everyone's on the site and everything, if I post this review up and there's a couple hundred people like loading the site up and shit, I'm not going to pay a boatload of money for bandwidth because it will be 1/3 as big as it was previously. So that's what we're working on now. And then as soon as that's done, which shouldn't take too long, everything goes up. And I also spent some time. I updated the Technical Alpha Patreon page. That's updated. Updated the social media pages for Technical Alpha, except for the Twitch page. That didn't get updated yet. My personal Twitch page got updated because it was rocking shit from about 5.5 years ago, and several other things. So it was kind of like a catch-up offline work week for me. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's either I'm dying or the work is almost done. We'll figure out what of those two lights are at the end of the tunnel. Could also just be a train. We'll discover soon enough. But we don't have time for small talk, Geoff. It's time It's time for news.
Got to get into it.
And I'm getting the stuff that you hate out of the way first. Boom, NVIDIA. upcoming.
I'm already checked out.
Already checked out. NVIDIA.
Check me out at N.
Upcoming round of GPUs. The graphics card's coming up this year. Normally, that would be like 2 years before they release the new architecture. Fuck that shit, because AMD is already trouncing everyone so bad in terms of their architecture that they're probably rumored right now that those graphics cards coming out this year will last 1 year, and then they are going to be completely replaced with a new architecture the following year. So, if you're looking to buy a graphics card, wait and see if that actually is true or has some credence, because you might be wasting some money there. You never know.
Send me the notes. I don't have the notes.
Oh, you don't have the notes? Oh.
No. Send them
1 second. I just have to stick on the starting soon screen here momentarily and get you the link here. Linky dink. There you go.
Thank you.
And we should be. Boom.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah, and this is mostly just because with Intel as well, AMD is doing everything on all fronts, and it's forcing everyone's hand to stop being lazy assholes, and do things as well. And so, thank you, AMD, for speeding the process up. We all appreciate it. Next. This is random as shit. I have it. I found it miraculously. Someone decided to completely compile Super Mario 64 in DirectX 12 for Windows machines. It runs. I turn it on. I haven't played it yet, but it works with Xbox controllers and everything. It runs at any resolution you stretch the screen to. It just auto runs it at that resolution and frame rate.
Damn.
Now, mind you, you go north of 60, the game's engine doesn't like that. It will speed everything up. So, like, all the shit goes faster than it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So you lock it to 60, and then you're off to the races. And you can play 4K 60 Super Mario 64 flawlessly, because why not? It's hard to find, I will say that much. I'm not going to tell you where to find it or anything like that, because I'm sure Nintendo is frantically trying to take that shit down absolutely everywhere. However, it's a thing on the internet. I'm just saying. And it's pretty fucking awesome. And guess who would never actually make use of it? Nintendo. You know who's going to take it down? Nintendo. So do with that as you will. It's a thing. And it looks and runs and sounds fucking awesome. So if you're into that, give it a whirl and have some fun. After that, related to that. So Super Mario 64 was actually, for the first time, completely decompiled. Like, the cartridge was completely decompiled last year. So the source code basically has been out there for quite some time. Somebody just decided, hey, what happens if you just directly inject this into DX12 and see what happens. And as it turns out, it works.
Sweet.
Next up, in other gaming, weird software-related shit, Riot's Vanguard, which is their the anti-cheat that we talked about the last couple of weeks, actually. More news keeps coming out about this as the weeks go on because it has issues. The latest issues, anyway, whether they've been patched out since this was released or not, this is a few days old. I doubt it's been completely fixed in that amount of time. Continues to cause issues for people. The latest round after the update that happened relatively recently, might not be the most recent update, but the one from several days ago anyway, between the last podcast and now, basically. It's been doing things like blocking fan controllers, so people's fans and their PCs not spinning, which, I don't need to tell you, is a relatively important feature for many PCs. Unless your computer is completely submerged in mineral oil or is sitting in the coldest ass refrigerator of all time, that's bad. So that happened. Also, in a similar vein, RGB related peripherals just not working, blocking those as well. And perhaps most annoying for most people, other than turning their computers into a toaster, is the fact that it was blocking a lot of gaming keyboards because it was blocking USB peripherals specifically, which meant that lots of people were turning their computers on and didn't have a keyboard to actually do anything with, and so they had to rely on the Windows, on-screen keyboard to try and fix their shit in the process. So, several yikes with Riot's Vanguard. Now, whether or not, again, so that happened between last podcast and now, maybe in the last 24 hours, that shit was patched. I don't know. However, what really is unfortunate about this, as we talked about before, is that it has root access to your computer, which is why half of this shit's happening in the first place, is because it's at root access level. People are still getting in, cheaters are still getting in and cheating. So maybe it doesn't need root access, and maybe you should figure out something else. I don't know. I'm just a simple man, but I'm gonna let you know right now, the moment that a piece of software turns off all of my CPU, all of my computer's fans, I'm gonna get rid of that fucking software immediately. So they're gonna have to figure out some shit, because that's just heinous. But there you go. So just keep that in mind. If you do have that on your computer, you're playing the game on your computer, you have Vanguard by default, keep that in mind. If shit starts to get wacky on your computer, there is a chance that it is just flat out that. So if you uninstall the game and you get rid of Vanguard and shit fixed, that's why. There you go. Next up, Jeff, we all know that E3 would be happening in about a month and a bit from now. Actually, almost exactly a month from today, in a normal year. But that shit ain't happening because Space Godzilla, hell of a son of a bitch, killed the whole thing. However, not to be held down, as he refuses to be, Geoff Keighly, who's just single-handedly saving the entire video game journalism industry, said, fuck this shit, I'm making my own E3 with blackjack and hookers and cocaine. And so he did. And now we're getting a massive, not just 1 week, but like almost 4-month-long production where game news will be delivered to the public in phases from all the partners that he brought together. Now that might sound like he got together like the fucking B team, like this is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or some shit, but it ain't that. He's got the big dick swing is in here because it's Geoff Keighly. So he does he's like the one guy in the game journalism. He's got some pull. So he called up some boys, and in the first phase, this isn't everyone, but in the first phase, some that I just pulled out, 2K, Activision, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, Square Enix, Steam, Xbox, and more are in phase 1 from May through fucking August. This thing is going down. So we're going to be getting, his plan is, because like he said, he put out a release on his Twitter where he was mentioning, look, ever since I was young, we've always had this season coming up has always been where the new exciting game-related hardware and software stuff was announced. It was like something to look forward to for the next year or whatever of releases. It was whatever got everyone hyped and what got me hyped. And with what's happening, we're not getting that anymore this year. And so I wanted to do something about it, and this is what he's doing about it. And damn it, Geoff Keighly, you do you. Get out there and fucking give her a go.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's what you can expect. So we'll actually, I was concerned
We'll
that
have news.
the podcast was going to be drier than the Sahara Desert coming up, but we're going to actually have some news. So shout outs to Geoff Keighly for making it all happen. Next up, Overwatch League, Jeff. When I say Overwatch League, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Death.
Okay, it's a good start. Well, if it isn't dead, it's on its way. Because the league's MVP, Sinatra, who if you haven't seen played, is a really fucking good Overwatch player, as the MVP would imply. He said, Overwatch League can overwatch my nuts, leave this house right now. And so he did. Because he saw Valorant and said, hey, that's pretty much Overwatch, except people give a shit. So I'm going to go over there.
Yep.
And so that's what he did. I think he's T1 picked him up maybe or something. I can't remember the team, but he left. He dipped the fuck. He got out of there.
Deuces.
Said deuces. And now he's going to go play. It's got to be a kick in the nuts when a game that's not even out of like beta yet, that doesn't even have a competitive scene, is stealing all the talent and all the players going out like all at the same. Like you gotta, and you've dumped tens and hundreds of millions of dollars into this league, and then just watch it in the span of like 7, 8, 9 months. Just horrible internal gameplay decisions and otherwise, just shit all over all the work everyone did. Especially the recent stuff, which is still being talked about now. They won't backtrack on it. We talked about on the podcast the banning system that they have, which has basically just resulted in every good character getting banned and all the shit characters remaining. And then people are just sitting there going, well, fuck. And nobody gets to pick who the bans are. Blizzard picks the bans.
Dude, Overwatch League is going to be done within a year. I
don't even know if it's going to be that long.
I think this year they're just going to announce like this is the last hoorah. We're out. 2021
gone.
Nah.
And they'll say something like the coronavirus really put a hamper on our business, to which everyone will go no.
There it is. And wait till Valorant like takes off.
Yeah, this hasn't even, it's still on the runway right now.
Yeah.
It's getting up to speed.
Yeah. Rip. Blizzard's out of the esport game, bro. They're done. Like they're gone. They're going mobile. That's where they're going.
They're going to be antiquated and out of the gaming industry inside of 5 years, bro.
I actually believe that. And I really do.
Like they're going to be basically just farming.
It's Call of Duty mobile games. That's it.
They're going to be peddling. They're going to be basically peddling the lowest tier easy shit that Activision can handle them. Is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're just going to leverage Blizzard's name as best they can. And then when it's out and they can't get blood from a stone, Activision Blizzard's going to be called what?
Activision.
There you go. Sony says the major. Oh, right. We talked about the Last of Us 2 leaks that happened that were all over the internet and continue to be all over the internet. Sony came out and said that the Last of Us 2 leaks did not come from an employee, but it was actually an external source. They couldn't say who or what at the time of saying that because it's an ongoing investigation. And you're damn right you better investigate when your biggest game of the year just got completely dismantled before it even hit the hands of players. So, however, our man with a plan who left Kotaku for Bloomberg the other week that we talked about last week, Jason Schreier, out here on the scene with the inside scoop that says, hey, guess what? I know just as many people as Geoff Keighly, and I've got some news for you. As it turns out, What the almost certain news for this is security vulnerabilities were found by hackers, who then, in a patch for an old Naughty Dog game, didn't say which Naughty Dog game it was, but an old Naughty Dog game patch that went out for it, they found some security holes in that, and then used that to access Naughty Dog servers, and then pulled everything off of there.
Rip.
It's going to be a yikes. Rip. And so some people are saying, no, that sounds like a cop-out. You know, maybe that's just news planted. And you got to sit back and go, well, I mean, if there's only two options here. One, you're admitting you're such a shit employer that an employee was so disgruntled that they put that out there, which is fucking, I mean, how disgruntled do you have to be to do that? Because you're not only doing it to the company, you're doing it to all the people that you worked with on that game for the years that you were there. Or you admit that you're security is so shit that somebody got into your server and stripped all your stuff. There's both of those avenues. It's a bad look.
Bad look.
It's not a good look. But just be aware, obviously, if you haven't heard yet somehow or haven't come across it and you're interested in avoiding it, that yes, The Last of Us 2, the entire thing, the story, the major plot points, all that, it's out there. So just be mindful when you're browsing the interwebs that you don't come across something that you don't want to see. Oh, here we go. Rumors have started circulating yet again about Final Fantasy 16. Jeff, I have a question for you. How much do you care about Final Fantasy 16?
0.
Do we need a Final Fantasy 16 anytime soon?
No.
What does Final Fantasy 16 even look like?
15. That's pretty much what it'll look like.
Probably. You're probably not wrong.
Definitely.
However, the most important part of this rumor that people who give a shit about Final Fantasy would actually care to hear is that the rumor includes that the person's team who would be leading this, the person and their team, is Yoshi P, who is the guy who resurrected Final Fantasy XIV, brought it from literally an utter failure that almost bankrupted the company and turned it into the best MMO on the market today that continues to be. That's a massive moneymaker for the company. And more importantly, the actual content of that game, the stories, the characters and shit, actually good. So that's useful information. As long as you don't see the name Nomura anywhere attached to Final Fantasy 16, you are free to get excited. If you see Nomura, your two options are curl up in the corner of a room and cry, or pray to God that you are okay with Final Fantasy becoming another storyline of Kingdom Hearts, because those are the two things that you'll be able to do if you see Nomura's name attached to it. However, Yoshi P's name is on there and he's really leading this whole fucking shit show. Okay, you're free to get a little bit excited about Final Fantasy 16.
Still not excited, but all right.
Is there anything that Final Fantasy can do to get you excited about Final Fantasy at this point?
No.
Nothing?
No, like Final Fantasy 7 and the remake is about as exciting as I can get, and I gotta wait years to even get the full thing.
It's true.
So no, it's not. Like I have no interest in Final Fantasy anymore. I just don't.
And you haven't got a chance to start up Final Fantasy yet?
You want to know? I tried. So
Yeah.
I took the podcast PC.
Yeah.
And I hooked it up into the theater.
Yeah.
And I have to get anyway, the way that everything is set up, there's something that I need to grab. Like wire wise, and kind of get everything. And my biggest issue right now is I couldn't get the wireless keyboard to work. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if I need to find that little tiny...
Did you try my keyboard on my side of the table instead of yours? And it still didn't work?
No. I don't know why it's not, even though it's already hooked up. I don't know if I need that little tiny thing you got to plug in the back.
You do.
Yeah, see, I don't know where that's at.
That should just be in the computer.
Oh,
Like, it should already be plugged into a USB port.
okay.
Otherwise, the keyboards for the
Let's just
podcast
say-
room wouldn't work.
Yeah, let's just say I'm trying
Okay.
right now. But once I have everything set up, then I'm gonna stream from in there for like 3 days and just beat it.
Beautiful.
I will
Well-
check out your review though.
Oh, don't until you've already played the game.
Okay.
Don't look at it until you played the game. Then feel
Alright.
free because you want to go in fresh. You don't want to
Fresh.
go in even
That's
though
right,
it's a
that's
spoiler.
right.
Even though it's spoiler free,
Yeah, still. We'll
you want to go in
fresh.
fresh to death. All right, where am I now? There we are. Xbox's event. All right, so we can talk about Xbox's event today. So,
Let's do it.
Xbox's event today was, we talked about last week, where they were going to announce and show off gameplay for games coming to the Series X in the not too distant future from their third-party developers. So that's outside of the first-party lineup, obviously, and so they showed that off today. That was a really liberal use of the word gameplay. Because what we saw was not a lot of gameplay, but everything was technically in-game. There's no UI, there's no actual gameplay elements from these games. It was basically just
They were
showing
CGI cutscenes within a game.
They weren't even that. Like, there was actual gameplay happening at parts, but it was not like you weren't sitting down and seeing a section of the game being played.
Yeah.
In that sense. So the whole idea was apparently was to show what you could expect visually from the third-party games, but they were also denoting throughout this thing when it was a game that was going to be enhanced for the Series X, which meant it's a game being developed as you can expect. We're in between console generations. The first part of the library for any new console is mostly a hybrid of releases that work on the old systems and then also the new. That's what we were seeing here. So we were seeing games that were how they were going to look on the Series X, even though they were being developed primarily for the Xbox One, for example. That's usually even more so the case with third party because they have to develop for multiple platforms to make their money back. The first real set of Series X specific games you'll see are likely going to be when they show the first party games off, because that's the in-house shit that they're working to make. They would make in-house ones would more likely make games for the Series X primarily that they would backwards compatible with the Xbox One instead of making a game for the Xbox One that is forwards compatible with the Series X. So they showed off. I got a little list of games here. So the first game was Scorn. I'm not going to lie to you. It was literally just a bunch of references to childbirth in this trailer that was very odd, very gray. And then there was literally a dripping penis at one point. I'm not fucking with you. If you want to see it, Scorn trailer, dripping penis, 100% there.
Penis Scorn trailer.
It is there. Scorn. It was just dicks everywhere, bro. Dicks
Nothing
and just uteruses and just birthing babies. I mean, you'll see the first 5 seconds, it's a dick, and then it cuts back to it later, and it's dripping. I'll wait for you to.
I see a skull here.
Yep.
Just gotta wait for the penis.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see here. What is this?
It's very phallic. You'll notice it very.
Okay.
Very. Yep.
I don't see a penis yet. Oh, okay, it's moving down. Oh. Still no penis yet.
Wait for it.
Oh, something's poking out.
There we go. All right.
At the penis. Was that a penis? Was that a futuristic penis? Oh, it's a dude walking. Oh, there it is. It's not very big.
No.
Oh,
that wasn't.
jeez, it's actually dripping. Oh my God, it's a leaky hose.
There it is. I told you.
It's got like little little alien foreskin on it too. Little drip. Look at that leak. Oh, it's actual semen.
Yes,
It did the thing. It did the thing. You know, when dogs got the little red rocket that comes out. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and
bro.
then it started spewing out little tiny. That's gross.
So that was a thing.
Ooh.
So that was the first
Exciting.
game they showed. It was the first game right off the bat. You just got some penis.
Okay.
This is way, it was a strong start for Xbox, getting the dick out. Then we had Bright Memory, which is actually I think that was the first one, actually, Bright Memory. Either way. Bright Memory, game that's already on Steam in a small form, made by one dude. It's an action shooter game that looks pretty cool. Has liberal use of like a grapple arm type thing. You can pull enemies towards you. There was like dismemberment, and then at one point there was a DeLorean, like
Ooh.
Back to the Future DeLorean.
Wow.
So that was weird. So that's a thing. Corvs was the next one. I can't even remember what the fuck that game was about, but the name on its own, CHORVS, tells you everything you need to know about whatever the fuck that was. Dirt 5 was shown off. The racing game. Guess what it looked like?
Dirt.
Forza Horizon. In fact, I thought it was fucking not Dirt. I thought it was Grid, because it looked like Grid. And then I was like, oh, maybe this is another Forza game. And then it was like, oh no, it's just Dirt masquerading as Forza. Madden 21, because we need to know that Madden 21 is coming. And guess what they did, Jeff? They showed off for like 9,000th time the classic showing like Madden for the NES, and then the next game, and then the SNES, and then coming all the way up, and then like the last 5 that they show all look the fucking same.
All identical. All identical.
Didn't really play into like what they were going for there. Like the last like 5 all looked the fucking same. It was very strange. But yeah, Madden. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is the sequel to one of the longest game titles in history. Looked like a game. Terrible animation. I'll say that much. Just fucking awful animation. But you know, the original game, very popular, critically relatively well received, so people are excited. Call of the Sea was a new one. That's an adventure game. Kind of looks, I don't want to say it looks like Sea of Thieves, but it's a similar aesthetic. It's an adventure game. Looked like it might even be like a bit puzzle adventure-y. But it looked really cool. It looked really nice, and the music was good. So Call of the Sea was that one. That was something to maybe take a look at the trailer if you're interested. The Ascent was the next one. Ascending, Jeff. We're going places and we're going up. I called it Budget Punk because it looked like a budget cyberpunk, but it's not a first-person kind of deal. It almost looks like XCOM Combat.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You did see that one? Yeah. It doesn't look bad. It just looks. No. It's what it tells me is that cyberpunk is going to be the theme for probably the next 3 years, where we just see assloads
futuristic
cyberpunk dystopian whatever the fuck is what we're getting. I know we're already in the midst of it now, but it tells me that we're gonna get more now.
Like Blade Runner 2049 type shit.
Yeah. The next up was Medium was the name of the game, and it's a psychological horror. The original composer for Silent Hill is on board for this one, which is cool. It looked great. This one actually had a lot of in-game gameplay. You could tell it had no UI, but it's a horror game, so you know what to expect. It just doesn't have a UI, so you could see kind of what the game was looking like. Visually, looked fantastic. I think it's made by a studio in Poland, but yeah, looked great. And but it is almost exactly Silent Hill's concept, except in Silent Hill, where it was the location, and then every time the alarm went off, it was like shit went to hell kind of thing. You know, it's like the real world and then Silent Hill kind of thing. The catalyst for this one is the woman is a medium, like a psychic, and so when she has like breaks or she's seeing shit or whatever, we're now real world mirror
Gotcha.
world type shit.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it. I'm okay with that. As long as it's good, it's whatever. Nothing new is there's nothing new under the sun at this point. But if it's done well, then that's fine. I was kind of excited for it because a new team getting in on psychological horror.
Hey,
I'm there for it.
this is the closest you can get to Silent Hill. Take it.
Danger close, including the composer at that point. We're edging ever closer to it. Next up was Scarlet Nexus, which is just the full-blown weeb game that, I gotta be honest, looked like ass. Not visually it looked fine, but the game just did not look interesting at all. It looked derivative and boring, and the voice acting for the English side, let's just say that you're gonna want to leave, if you play this game, leave it in Japanese. Next up, everyone got debated, Jeff. If I told you that we were gonna get a fucking new next-gen Turok game, would that be something that you'd go, fuck yeah, I'd play some Turok?
No.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I thought that was like an easy setup. Like, Turok, really? Like, I mean, Turok is fucking good shit.
Yeah, it's a good classic game, but I ain't looking for no Turok action.
I debated myself on that one then. Well, either way, I thought it was a Turok game, how it started, and in the trailer, but as it turns out, it just looks like a fucking, like a, what do they call them? Horde mode in games where like just more and more enemies just coming at you.
More waves come.
The whole trailer was essentially Horde mode with dinosaurs, is what it looked like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really not interested.
Yeah, no, I checked out after I realized it wasn't Turok. I really checked out. But it was even more so checking out when I realized that it just looked like Horde mode. It's just not for me. After that, we got, and that was called Second Extinction, was the name of that game. The next up was Yakuza, which is a very popular game, obviously. Yakuza, the series in general. This is a new spin-off called Yakuza Like a Dragon, is what it's called. Game looked good. All the Yakuza games are actually very well done, and so that was a good one for them to have. That's one of those games where I don't know if I doubt it's an exclusive to the Xbox, but just having it is good for the Xbox Series X as far as hopefully making headway in Japan, because Xbox just cannot fucking make headway in Japan. And then the last one was more Assassin's Creed, Vikings, the TV show, the movie, the game adaptation, the video game.
Yeah.
Which we saw some gameplay in there insofar as that, again, no UI, slowed down, trailery looking shit, but it was in-game. You could tell it's in-game models. They're not spicing it up. They just made a trailer with in-game graphics. And it looked good. But it also just looked like another fucking action game with nothing new to offer. So we'll have to wait and see what more they can bring to the table. Because as always, it's just like, hey, like I mentioned last week, it's like Assassin's Creed has been reduced to, let's make an action game in whatever era we want to, and we're going to call it Assassin's Creed because the main character is going to have a hidden blade on their arm. And that's kind of where Assassin's Creed is now. I'm still trying to get over the fact that that trailer that we watched last week
hasn't been sued?
Almost frame for frame.
It's actually Vikings. It's actually Vikings.
It's crazy.
Like if they said it was Vikings the video game, I would have been like, wow, okay,
looks like
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a game. So that was it. That was it for that third-party stuff. They did announce that the first-party stuff, they're going to have an event for the first-party releases, where they will also likely for the first time show off Halo Infinite, is July. So July is the time frame for that, where we'll get all the first-party stuff to look at. And that will be exciting, because that will have likely more content, like I said, that was more specifically designed for the Series X. And everyone, myself included, is sitting here thinking, you know, even if you're not interested in Halo, we're getting so close to Halo Infinite's release, and we haven't seen a single video, really, beyond that trailer ages ago that showed nothing. Yeah. And everyone knows that, you know, we talked about on the podcast, they had people like leaving the team and shit was just fucking all over the place. So July, that's the Thunderdome for Microsoft for that first party show off. However, you know what? Despite the fact that this wasn't huge in terms of like everything being amazing, there were a couple of gems in there that look like they might be something to keep tabs on. And more importantly, it's better than not showing anything at all, which Sony still has not shown a damn thing. I don't understand, Geoff. However, Geoff Keighly is going to force their hand because they're on that list. So we're seeing something eventually. It's coming. Geoff Keighley's going to make it happen. We just got to make it happen. We got to have faith in Geoff Keighly. Save us, Geoff. And maybe save Sony at the same time, because whatever the fuck they're doing is freaking weird right now. In relation to Xbox, however, like I already mentioned, they have the thing coming up in July for the first party stuff. But more than that, they plan to have major announcements like they did today, once a month, every month until the end of the year. So their news cycle is going to be like clockwork. Once a month, you're getting something like you got today for major news regarding the Xbox Series X and the Xbox brand in general. And so that's great for us because it will give us something to fucking talk about. Next up after that, the Xbox Series X and Halo Infinite were confirmed to be aiming for the holiday 2020 launch window. So, just like the PlayStation, they're shooting for it. They're shooting for it. We'll see what happens, but they're shooting for it. And then the last piece, Halo 2, for the Master Chief Collection for the PC, next week. Drops next week.
It's a big one.
That's the biggest, probably the biggest part of that release for people who are into the old school multiplayer. As nice as it was to play Halo 1 multiplayer, Halo 2 was what separated the men from the boys for Halo's multiplayer. And so that will be a very interesting release, and hopefully it's the least buggy of all of them. If they're going to get one right, I want them to get
Halo 2.
This one right.
Yep.
Will you try Halo 2 when it hits the PC?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I bought that Master Chief Collection thing, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Drop on in with the dual needlers. Hide like a sissy bitch and hope somebody with a shotgun doesn't find you. All I can remember is our fucking time in that tournament getting shafted by that kid who hadn't slept in like 7 weeks. I've never seen somebody look so dead, still move. That was, I mean, I've never personally in real life seen somebody on meth. That kid might have been on meth.
Definitely on Adderall. He's on something.
He was on something. Holy shit. That was quite a time. But next up, Nintendo leaks. We got some to talk about. Nintendo leaks. But before I talk about Nintendo leaks, Jeff, what should the people at home be doing right now?
You should be hitting the like button.
There you fucking go.
You should be on Patreon. Oh, we gotta sell that. We got sell that.
That's not yet. But just just the like button. Just a reminder. Just the like button.
Hit that like button.
Nintendo leaks, Jeff. They keep coming.
What is it now?
They just keep fucking coming. So the old game code for a lot of games have been dropping online. Anything from Pokemon games and otherwise, like just similar to what we were talking about with Mario 64, kind of same idea. Lots and lots of that stuff's been dropping. Somebody obviously got a cache of shit somewhere that they've been just releasing over the last several months. And now this latest slew is the biggest one, where they have apparently unleashed every piece of code for the hardware and software for the Nintendo Wii. Everything.
Wow.
Top to bottom. So that's going to make things like emulation and whatnot much easier for people moving forward. And Lord only knows what kind of crazy shit we'll see pop up because of that. More like this, maybe Super Mario 64 visits your Windows PC. And I can only imagine that Nintendo has 15,000 people dedicated specifically to try and figure out why they haven't plugged all the leaks yet, who's leaking it, and how to fucking take down with as many DMCAs as possible the endless slew of shit that just keeps popping up on the internet. Now, Geoff, something that you might be able to talk about, because up to this point, because we don't have much time, it's been Adam spitting news for an hour straight.
It's all good. Doing a great job, Adam.
Pewdiepie. Give me your best Pewdiepie impersonation.
PewDiePie.
Perfect.
Does he
Complete
even
with
do
fist
that
bump.
anymore? I don't
The
even know
fist
if he
bump
does that
thing
anymore.
is just like, because he did his little browse, weird thing with like the browse.
What a brush.
He signed an exclusive stream deal with YouTube, Geoff.
Boom.
It fucking happened. How much money do you think PewDiePie gets to exclusively stream on YouTube?
I don't think it's as much as, say, Ninja or Shroud would have gotten. He probably made a cool, like, $10 million.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
7 to 10. Because it's not like, to my
I
knowledge,
don't even think it's that. I think it's 2 to 5. Because he doesn't even really stream. He's only just mentioned recently that he's going to start making streaming more of an active thing in his content
But I think
creation.
maybe that's why. I think maybe they're looking for a streamer, so they might have said, "Hey, Pewdie, I know you don't stream all that much, but how does $10 million sound if you're willing to stream 20 hours a week?"
And
That's
PewDiePie
probably why
said,
he wants to stream more.
I could use another property. Yeah, I'll
why
take
not?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
It
don't know.
doesn't really affect Twitch all that much because, like,
no, it's not a Twitch thing or anything. Like this is, I mean, PewDiePie had no pull for people off of Twitch pretty much ever. PewDiePie is not even in the vernacular of Twitch viewers 90% of the time. So this is more of just YouTube locking up their biggest money draw on the site and saying, hey, if you're going to stream, you might as well do it here. Here's a bunch of money to do it. And then they were asked, obviously YouTube was asked, how this lines up with everything that PewDiePie has come under fire for in the last several years, that YouTube themselves have had to reprimand him or pull sponsorships from or whatever. And their response was basically, he's not going to get treated any differently from any other partner on the platform that's live streaming here. If he missteps like he did in the past, we're going to have to take action. He'll be suspended indefinitely, depending on what's going on. It won't be any different from everyone else, which is not surprising because the stuff that he's been getting pegged for has not been particularly small shit. He does have a tendency to have, he can't just do something mild. It's got to be like horribly racist or incredibly anti-Semitic or some other related fuckery. Like he couldn't just pick something mild like, oops, his girlfriend had a fucking like ass cheek slip or some shit. Couldn't just be mild. Has to be something hardcore. So we'll see how it goes. I will be interested to see how his stream performs.
Oh, it's going to do well. I mean, if he's live streaming on YouTube where all of his people are
like, how many viewers does PewDiePie pull down to do a stream?
It's probably like 50,000 plus. That'd be my guess. He'll be big.
Yeah.
Like, just having him stream alone will more than double your probably entire YouTube gaming streaming. Just him streaming is going to be bigger than probably Mixer's entire website.
Well, to be fair, Geoff, depending on the hour of the day, my stream is bigger than everything on Mixer's website, so it's not really a high bar to pass. So you're probably not wrong. Not wrong. And the last piece of news and the most important piece of news this week, Geoff. You can customize your genitals in Cyberpunk.
I'm sold now.
You ever wanted to have some tits?
I want Shaq's dick. I want Shaq's dick. I want a 12-inch, black, thick, and veiny penis in Cyberpunk that has metal on it and that can have a leaky hose like
I was going to say,
Scorn. Is
this even worth it if you can't make your dick look like the one in Scorn?
Well, I don't want it if I can't scorn my penis.
Right. Exactly.
So deal with it.
I'm
it. In.
Make it happen.
I'm in.
Jeff, what time is this? Time to sell out. Hit me up with a sellout.
Patreon.com/LegTV.
It's been updated.
So go check it out. And while you're at it, we need 5 more Patreons to get us back to that. I don't even know where we're at. I think it was like Let me see here.
Did we finally drop below 2,100?
We did. Wait. Let me check. Yes. Oh, we're at 2,098.
So we came
$2
back
off.
up a little bit, actually.
But we dropped like 5 Patreons.
Yes.
So we're trying to get 5 more, get us back to that 350. Could be
That's
just $1. Could be $1. It's not much.
It's not much.
Hey, if you can't afford it or you just don't want to, hit the like button. Share it. You know, hit us up with that algorithmic comment.
Tell anyone that you know that you think would even have a passing interest in this podcast.
Yep.
Send them a
Just
link.
do that. Boom. And your job is done. NordVPN. If you guys need a VPN service, nordvpn.com/OTT. Promo code 70% off. 70% off.
What does that
3-year
result in,
term.
Jeff? What can I buy with that savings?
You could buy all kinds of things. You could go to our Patreon and then throw money there. You could save money and then go and buy a stream deck from Elgato.
You could.
Whatever it is that you want. But let me tell you something. You want to watch some American Netflix when you're Canadian? No problem. NordVPN got you. You want to stay anonymous and safe on the interwebs, whether you're in public or at home? Hey, no problem. NordVPN got you. You want to browse the internet when you're visiting China, or maybe you're from China? No problem. NordVPN got you. Hey, you know, UFC is happening this weekend. It's a big UFC card.
It is.
It's going to be blocked in a lot of regions on the internet.
That's right.
Got NordVPN? Hey, no problem. Bypass it all by
Jeff,
the click of a single button.
I got a question for you.
What?
The Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's another one.
They
Always getting cucked.
They have one funny skit every 2 to 3 years. But as a Canadian, despite being able to watch it actively whenever I want on television, I can't see a damn thing Saturday Night Live related. Will this help me?
It will. You just click one button.
Boom.
All of a sudden, you're from the United States of America, so you can watch your Saturday Night Live clips because you didn't have enough time to watch it live, and you just didn't care enough. So now you can do that. So once again, NordVPN, promo code OTT, link is in the description, or you can just go to the website, nordvpn.com/OTT. Also, we cannot forget about Elgato. If you ain't got a stream deck, well, you gotta get one right now. Link is in the description below. Hey, you need some lighting? Maybe you just started, you know, your OnlyFans page.
I know I did.
You need some lighting for those professional home photography shoots.
Which is actually just your boyfriend holding your iPhone, wondering when he can go back to watching TV instead of taking awkward pictures of you trying to wrap your heels around the back of your head.
Yay. Perfect lighting from Elgato. Go ahead and grab their key light. Grab their key light. All right? Stream Deck. If you ain't got one, you're crazy. You need to get one because they're amazing.
Here's a combo for you. NordVPN, Stream Deck. You can put on every button a new country, new region that you want to go to. Press it, boom.
You want to be, you can even just have the flags for each spot.
Where am I going today?
Norway.
Boom.
Bam.
I'm there. And
Just
I'm probably
like that.
not coming back.
No. Especially, you know, if you're in certain parts of the world right now, you're just going to stay there.
Just stay in Norway.
Just go to Norway.
It's probably ideal.
Yeah.
Mr. Maximus Black.
Yeah.
Now it's time for
movies and TV.
We got a response. Not we specifically. That was probably a bad way to phrase that, but there was a response. Universal response to AMC's. We're being passive aggressive, Jeff. We're in passive aggressive mode. And so let me read the response. So of course the original response or the original thing from AMC was this, and this is a quote. It is disappointing to us, but Jeff's comments, fuck you, Jeff. Jeff's comments as to Universal's unilateral actions and intentions have left us with no choice Therefore, effectively immediately, probably should have said effective immediately and not effectively immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. Mic drop.
Damn.
To which Universal said, hold my beer. Our goal in releasing Trolls World Tour on PVOD was to deliver entertainment to people who are sheltering at home while movie theaters and other forms of outside entertainment are unavailable. Based on the enthusiastic response to the film, we believe we made the right move. In fact, given the choice of not releasing Trolls World Tour, which would not only have prevented consumers from experiencing the movie, but also negatively impacted our partners and employees, the decision was clear. Our desire has always been to efficiently deliver entertainment to as wide of an audience as possible. We absolutely believe in the theatrical experience and have made no statement to the contrary. As we stated earlier, going forward, we expect to release future films directly to theaters as well as on PVOD when that distribution outlet makes sense. We look forward to having additional private conversations with our exhibition partners, but are disappointed by this seemingly coordinated attempt from AMC and NATO to confuse our position and our actions. So now we're playing passive-aggressive business speak on social media, and now we get to see who flinches first, Jeff. Who's going to flinch first in this battle of the passive-aggressive companies?
I guarantee you. Calling it out.
All right.
Universal backs down.
Okay. You got a timeline on that?
Well, probably not for a little while because it's not really, the theaters ain't going to be pretty much go probably until October, November, maybe September. I mean, they're going to be open soon, but ain't nobody really going to the theater at that level. So I highly doubt they're going to jump the gun on anything. And plus, they also don't have any major movies coming out. Fast and the Furious got delayed for like an entire year.
Yeah.
So that's not coming out until 2021. If you believe that Fast and the Furious is not going to play in the AMC theaters or the Regal theaters, and I guarantee you some of the other theater chains are going to go, okay, we're not playing your shit either. It'll be interesting. And I believe it's going to go one of two ways. The first is they're going to say, all right, you know what? Fuck you then. Fuck AMC, fuck Regal, and fuck NATO. And I'm just going to play the movie in the theaters that allow it, if any. And then we're just going to release on digital. That is a possibility. It really, truly is a possibility. But they made it very, very, they said it specifically that this is for select movies when it makes sense. And it never makes sense for their big blockbuster films. And the vast majority of the movies that go to theater from Universal are blockbuster films. The animated films, it does make more sense to do both digital and theaters because of children and the fact that it can, families are at home. They don't have to take everybody out there. And we went through that last week. Those things that really truly does make sense. But they, like I said before, they're not going to be able to have their cake and eat it too. So that's one way. The second way, it could go like this. And this is where it can get real dicey. Real dicey. Universal makes a call over to Disney, over to any of the other big studios and say, listen, NATO's doing their thing. Let's do our thing. And you make the same statement. And you say, I also want to do stuff. And then we'll see if AMC then has the balls to tell Disney, nah, you ain't doing both. Because when you telling Disney you ain't doing it, I mean, you're gonna kill yourself. Like your business, you're literally gonna kill your business. You can handle a Universal loss, but you can't handle a Disney loss. You just can't. And the crazy thing about it is AMC's and Universal Studios, and they have theaters right on the lot, which makes things super wild to me that this is even a thing. This is a pissing match right now, and I think Universal right now, they didn't say, and from what I'm getting in this, they're making themselves seem like the good guys because, hey, we just want to give our movies in the most convenient way to as many people as possible. That's why they're saying this publicly. Like they're
I mean, it does sound like a reasonable fucking mission statement for a company like them.
Why wouldn't you do it before? You know what I mean? Like this, it's not like digital is like a thing that is just.
Well, if they've never been prompted before, then
this is, Adam, believe you me, this has been in the talks and discussed, and they've been very frustrated the fact they can't do this for many of years. Sure. This is not something that they woke up one morning and go, you know what? Yeah, they finally had an opportunity to do it. Because this never would have happened.
That's what I mean by what I mean when I say they were never prompted. I'm not saying they never talked about it. I'm just saying that this was their prompt.
And they still didn't do it. They still didn't do it. They just went a movie that was supposed to be in theaters. They just went digital, and it just made sense.
Yes, yeah.
And now they're trying to see how much they can stretch that motherfucker. You know what I mean? They're seeing like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can do our thing. And they put that little tweet out there in the ether, and they said, hey, okay, let's see what happens. And then NATO just came in and said, nah, bro, it's not happening. So the only way I see Universal actually going through with this is if another studio comes out of equal or bigger size, would have to be bigger. And they said, you know what? We want to do the same thing too. And we stand behind, because not just from Universal standpoint, but we also stand behind that same mission statement that Universal is putting out, where we want to be able to give people an experience in the way that they want to experience, whether that's in theater and or digital. Because they can't really get on the back of like, well, we want to make more money, and we're standing behind Universal because we want to do the same thing. They have to get behind that playing to the people thing, and they have to make the theaters look like a bad company, like a bad thing, like, oh, popcorn prices are ridiculous. It's all the shit that you were saying last week. Fuck the theater. It's what are they doing? That's what their play here is. But they have to be careful, because if they go too deep and this shit don't work, you burn in a bridge, and it's not a small bridge. When that bridge goes down, these are huge profits that are going to be lost. So it's interesting. It really is, because I wasn't expecting them to double down and say this, but at the same time, they kind of can right now, because it's not like Jurassic World is coming out next month, or Fast and the Furious is coming out next month, or Hobbs and Shaw. Imagine telling Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that his movie can't be put on the big screen in the biggest theater chain on the planet with over 1,000 theaters, and think about how many, that's theaters, not even auditoriums. You're looking at 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 auditoriums per theater.
Yeah.
This is this is unheard of. So, I still think Universal is going to back down on this. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to say, listen, there are only specific movies that we were planning to do the digital and theater release. We're just going to release those on digital. And we're going to, we believe in the blockbuster experience and the blah, blah, blah. And, they also, like I said last week, they got to be careful, because I'm telling you right now, when they drop the bomb here and they say, you ain't coming, Universal, and then they release Fast 9 on digital instead of theater, or they do both, that shit is getting pirated so hard and so fast that it's going to blow your fucking mind. People, I mean, it will be on another scale. Like, BitTorrent websites and all this other shit is going to be like through the fucking roof, bro. It's going to be like worse than Game of Thrones was when those things got released. When these movies get ready to go on digital, soon as it hits that streaming platform, they're getting ripped in like Blu-ray quality. You're fucked. So they gotta tread lightly here. They're having a pissing match, and if they're lucky, if they're lucky, they'll have Disney come out and say something similar and force the hand. And then maybe, because they did say talk about this in private or something, or have more discussions, maybe the theaters get a small percentage of the digital release as well. That is the only way I see this happening on both sides, where they go, okay, you know what? If your movie's playing in our theaters, this is the percentage that we want from digital. So whatever you sell, we're going to get $1, $1.50, $2, whatever the case may be, of every digital sale that you have to make up for the fact that we don't have your movie in the theater.
Yeah.
That's the only way I ever see it working, but I still don't see it going down like that, personally.
Well, it looks like we've got several months of passive aggressive-ness to come, so we'll be able to keep tabs.
I mean, it's good. It's good for consumers.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, for people that go to the theater or don't go to the theater, options is a good thing. It's just a very scary thing for the box office. The movies that may or may not get greenlit now. And also, it kind of puts a lot more buying power in platforms like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, where they go, okay, you know what? If you're not going to go to the theater, maybe we do a deal with these companies. And we go, okay, you know what? We're going to release this on digital and on Netflix. And then Netflix is writing a big check to have exclusivity, digital release-wise, to have out to everybody instead of actually renting the film. You know, there's things that they could do, but man, there's a lot of moving pieces.
Well, we'll wait and see how it all unfolds. Obviously, it didn't get a resolution as fast as it might have seemed like it was going to happen. So now we have to wait and see just how drawn out and how complicated the resolution to this whole thing is, because it doesn't seem like either side is willing to take a step back yet. They're still both drawing lines in the sand, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. WWE has been levied several class action investor-based lawsuits in just the last recent while. You can take a look at that list. The long short of it is basically, because we don't have the time to go super far into it. The long short of it is essentially the WWE for a long time, about a calendar year and a bit, in several different instances were in most of these cases they're saying that they were, what's the best way to put this, delivering not false information, but it was like there was a lot of spin going on that investors were acting on, and a lot of things that were unfolding that continued to tank the stock price 15, 20% at a time, like just fucking massive drops in stock price. And then there was also one in there. A lot of this is surrounding the Crown Jewel event that they had over in the Middle East and the UAE. I think it was held over there. And apparently there was like a situation where wrestlers were literally being like held hostage within the country until investors there were getting paid by the WWE and getting that shit settled. And there were like wrestlers went to social media to talk about that shit. Like, they've had a slew of shady, crazy shit happen in the last year or two that is now coming back to bite them in the ass. And now they've got a whack of not small class action lawsuits that their investors and their shareholders are coming after them with. Because, I mean, people's value has been basically evaporated in this company long before Space Godzilla got its hands all over it. So we were discussing last week how you were saying that there's rumors going around that Vince is looking to sell the company and that Disney is looking to buy them. Well, the company now is worth a hell of a lot less than it was before, and these are some of the reasons why. And we're seeing these lawsuits come up. So the WWE thing is a fucking rat's nest right now. And I never would have thought that a company that big, that much of a juggernaut, and standing pretty much on its own, no real competition, could dissolve itself so quickly, like just fucking super quick. So Lord knows how that's gonna play out. Same with the Universal thing. That's to sit back and watch and see what happens. We'll try and keep tabs on that and keep you guys posted as to how the lawsuits and stuff unfold. But you'll likely obviously see major news crop up on your own, and we'll talk about that as the news arrives. Small stuff that makes me happy. John Wick's directors to assist in the Matrix 4 choreography. Thumbs up.
Cool. That's good.
Because that choreography, really good. You combine that choreography with the cinematography of a Matrix film, where, you know, you don't always have pullback shots so that you can see that the guys know what's coming up, like as dope as the choreography was, like in John Wick 3, we talked about it. They're really good, but you can't hide everything when the camera's that wide for that long. You're going to notice somebody makes a slip up. There were action scenes that are 5 minutes fucking long.
Yeah.
And just kept going. And eventually somebody is going to have a tell where they know where the next shot is coming. And as good as they were, it's just the case. So that choreography mixed with that, any weird oddities like that being more hidden from the cinematography that is likely going to be happening within something like The Matrix, sounds fucking awesome to me.
Did you see Extraction yet?
I did. Yes, we watched Extraction.
Yeah. What did you think?
I thought that it was pretty good.
Yeah.
They did a lot of faked extended cuts, you know what I mean? Where they had a lot of relatively clever transitions to make it look like it was one long scene or one long take. But the action was well done. He did a super good job. I mean, I don't even know what more you can say about it. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it was good. It was really, I enjoyed it. And number 2, I think, is just gotten greenlit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At least there's heavy talks. It ended up being Netflix's biggest movie release.
Yes, I saw that.
Ever. So yeah, they're gonna do another one. Which I'm cool with too.
Yeah. I mean, Hemsworth did a great job. And he didn't have to hide his accent for once, so that must have been a relief for him.
Yeah.
You know, the kid did well.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't
a summer blockbuster necessarily, but it was not I wouldn't call it a B movie. It was in some weird purgatory between an actual full-blown blockbuster and a B movie. But it goes to show how good Netflix's production is getting with these films and these TV shows, that, you know, the budget isn't nearly as big as like a full-blown movie, but yet you're still getting that quality and those names attached to it. That's pretty good. So, it was a good watch. You know, it was a good watch. If I had to rate it out of 10, it's like a solid 7.
Yeah, I give it like a 7.5.
Yeah, it was a solid 7. Not a lot in there that I wasn't a fan of.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It was like a damn good time. I've just watched it and was like, you know, I was like, ooh, that's okay. All right.
Yeah. And there was some good like fight scenes and shit in
really good fight scenes in that movie.
Like some really good choreography.
Yeah.
And like visceral as fuck. Like sometimes choreography when
it's a stunt guy, the guys that did Avengers and Infinity War and stuff.
Yeah.
He directed the film, so they're doing another one. So I'm sure it's just going to get better, and I think they're going to just get better and better and better. And there's a chance that it could be another John Wick type thing, right? Where the next one they just take it to another level.
Yeah. No, it was good. Definitely watch it if you had the opportunity. Extraction was well done for sure. What do I have next? Oh, my favorite news of the week, Jeff. This is it. My favorite news. Nicolas fucking Cage has been cast to play Joe Exotic in an 8-part Tiger King series. And I could not be more excited about how fucking dumb that sounds. It
works. It works.
Yes, give me whatever the fuck of a train wreck that's going to be. Give me that.
He's not the guy I thought would play him.
No.
But now that I see it and I hear it, I'm
Fuck
ready.
it.
I'm ready.
Does he lose a bunch of weight for the role?
Yes.
Does Cage go full in on this?
Well, I don't think he's gonna go I think he's gonna go skinny fat. I think he's gonna be skinny fat for this.
I can't.
I just want to hear the accent. I just want to hear the voice.
Oh my god, dude. I want him to do that monologue that was playing during like the campaign thing where he was talking about like I'm broke as shit.
That's what I want as the trailer.
I want that as the trailer. Yeah.
It's over and just like just seeing shots of chaos and tigers and everything else. I just want to say fucking bitch.
Carol Baskins.
Fucker. Bitch. That's what I want to hear, but I want to hear fucking Nicolas fucking Cage. Yes, I'm gonna binge the fuck out of it.
Yes,
binge the living shit out of it.
Oh fuck. And that's not the only thing coming though. They're still talking about the other one we talked about the other week, and there's still another docu-series coming on the Carol Baskin case. And it's just get ready. The two themes of the next 2 years: Cyberpunk and the Tiger King.
Yep.
Buckle the fuck up. And if you're lucky, Cyberpunk-themed Tiger King.
Boom. I'm in.
Starring Nicolas fucking Cage. Oh my god, that's incredible. Next up, what was about as much of a head-scratcher as you could possibly get, although I don't know if either of these men have the flexibility left to actually be able to scratch their head. Eddie Hall, who was the previous world record holder for the deadlift at a competition, during competition, it's 1,000 pounds. It's 500 kilogram. Motherfucker picked up weight and he held it for 10 fucking seconds like some sort of god, to the point where the color of his eyes changed and he bled from just about every pore in his fucking body, and it took him 2 weeks to recover from the blood pressure dropping out so severely that he nearly died. Not to be outdone, Hafthor Bjornsson, the 6'9", 755,000-pound monster from Game of Thrones, who is also at one point and still continues to be active in The World's Strongest Man, decided to just crank that out.
Have you seen his woman?
If she's not standing behind him.
She is about the size of his arm.
Yes, one arm. And she's an active person too. Like she's as you would imagine she would be. So she's not like a small lady, but when you're 6'9", 300 and some fucking pounds, 347 pounds or whatever the fuck he is, it's
there's no way he can even be on top. Like that is, it's ogre.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't want to know what that's like, but she's obviously into it. Regardless, he broke the record by 1 kilogram here the other day. Did not hold it for 10 seconds like an idiot. Just picked that shit up off the ground. Made it look relatively easy, if I'm going to be honest. Dropped it after locking out and called it a day. It was not in competition, but it was recorded. And so, Eddie's response, of course, feeling a little bit challenged, said, well, it wasn't a competition, but congratulations. When you do it at a competition, I'll be more impressed. And both men with egos the size of them personally have decided that to make as much money off of the rivalry as possible, they're going to follow the YouTube formula of when all else fails, box each other. And
are they doing it for charity? I think they're doing it for charity.
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I think it's they're doing it for charity.
2021 September, Eddie Hall versus Hafthor Bjornsson, which would be hilarious because Eddie Hall is about half as tall as Hafthor, and would have a reach that is probably 0, given how muscle-bound he is and how short he is. That's going to be an absolute shit show for the ages. So whatever is profiting from this, it's gonna be worth watching, if only for the shit show. But yeah, that's a hell of a go. But I just want to reiterate, both of these men, regardless if it was in competition or out, easily picked up off the ground 1,000 plus pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
That's
a whole lot of weight.
You think about how much weight that you pick up before you start to struggle at the gym, and then put that into context of them picking up 1,000 pounds and more. people are like, man, I broke my sick deadlift record. It was like 550 pounds. And Halfdoor's like, bitch, please double that weight and get back to me.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
Fucking wild. Absolutely wild. Next up, Sly, in one of his social media he's having like the little chats and drinks with fucking on video recently. I don't know what he's giving advice to people and shit.
Celebrities are
bored
going
out of their mind. Yeah.
They don't know what to do with themselves when they're not the center of attention all the time. Now they're just fucking sitting on social media. You've seen Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on there 24/7 selling his fucking goddamn tequila.
Yep.
That's all he does. Sell tequila.
That's all he can do. Is sell tequila. Sly announced Demolition Man 2 is happening because he's not old enough yet to stop. He's going to continue.
Stop. Somebody needs to come in and tell him it's over. All right? He needs to just take a chill out on these action films. He needs to take a step back and like fucking go a Clint Eastwood and just play like the old grumpy man. You know? Maybe show up in a movie and have a small fight scene. But no.
When does the steroids take him out the game?
At this point, Adam, he's immune. He is a steroid. I think if he stops taking steroids, he dies.
Yeah, now he has to keep steroids in his system.
He's like a fish. He's like a fish in a really shitty tank of water.
Yeah.
That's just horribly ridden with just algae and shit.
But they've adapted.
You put clear water in there, they're dead. That is Sly's motherfucking system right now.
That's true.
He is permanently on a cycle. And the moment he gets off that cycle, he gets off the circle and cycle of life. It's ogre. And he needs to just stop with these action films.
The bro's literally fucking over 70 years old, still like pumping iron and taking HGH to keep his size going. I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to, you could map his entire fucking vasculatory system just because he's on so many steroids. He's so vascular. You see everything.
Dude, I actually think he's probably had a couple of strokes and we just haven't noticed at this point.
Well, I mean, he started with his mouth is already fucking all off canter anyway, so.
Demolition Man, dude.
I don't even think I actually watched the original Demolition Man.
Dude, don't.
Is it that bad?
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's one of these. It's old. It doesn't hold out. Nobody's asking, dude. Like, come up with something creative, dude. Like the stuff that he did with Creed, it was fine because his role was like minimal.
It made sense.
Yeah. It was good. But these like action films, these old school like 80s action movies,
you know
90s
what?
action
You know
movies,
what holds up? Because we watched it, and I watched it. You know what holds up?
What?
Fucking Bloodsport, bro.
Oh, fuck. I don't even know Bloodsport.
Bloodsport fucking holds up. Okay, USA.
Oh, man. This is bad. So, no. I'm not feeling Demolition Man 2. All right? I'm just not feeling it.
Well, how about, are you feeling Taika Waititi now? Because he is apparently going to be the director of every movie between now and the time that we retire, as he has now been attached to, as rumor is anyway, a Star Wars film.
Good. Because he makes good movies.
And
he's got, like, the right amount of humor. And he doesn't suck. So, yeah. And he's got an actual style.
Yes.
So give me that.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know what project it is. It's just Star Wars Taika Waititi.
It'll be a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It'll be a Star Wars movie. So
do you think it's mainline or an offshoot?
I think it'll be a big one.
Yeah. Like if they're doing another trilogy or some shit, he'll be one of them.
I think he'll probably do the first, and then they'll probably go, you know what? Can you do our trilogy, please?
No, well, you know, or it will be Taika Waititi, and then they'll go, you know what? Rian Johnson, you did such a bang-up job the last time in the second film. You want to come back for this one? And they're going to find out Rian Johnson was a bad choice, and then they're going to bring back Taika Waititi for the third, and the whole trilogy is going to suck.
Please do not ever bring back Rian Johnson for that. Just keep, you know what? Just hire people like Taika Waititi, all right?
Yes. Stick to that.
Just do that. Yeah.
Last piece, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jeff. Getting rebooted. That's going ahead. And they're putting the female role in classic Hollywood style to take over for
Johnny
Mr.
Depp?
Johnny Depp.
Well,
And
you know what?
They've got Karen Gillan is the actress that they are rumored to be pegging for that.
I mean, she's a great actress.
She's
fun. She's like very Disney.
Yep.
You know, for those who don't know, she plays Nebula or
Nebula.
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 Right. In the Avengers.
Yeah.
And in the fucking I mean, I can't think right now.
Neither can I. I'm running on a bowl of cereal and I'm dying right now.
She's also in The Rock's Jungle Book stuff.
Yes.
So she's in that. She's a good actress.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm normally the type of person that hates on the female shit. But in this specific case, I actually agree with it. And here's why.
Give it to me.
You simply cannot replace Jack Sparrow. You cannot replace Johnny Depp.
It's true.
And no matter what guy you have in there playing Jack Sparrow, it's going to be a big nope from everybody.
It's true.
It just can't work. You can't reboot the franchise and have a different Jack Sparrow. You just can't. The safest way to do it is to completely change the lead. And if Jack Sparrow, it might be Jacqueline Sparrow. They might.
Oh, please no.
It might be a completely different character. But either way, which I think is the route they'll go, it'll be around another pirate, you know, and they'll do a thing around there, and they'll have strong supporting male actors and shit around her. But I feel like if you're gonna do a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, the part that I don't understand is they're calling it a reboot, and that part scares me because I feel like they're actually going to go the route of trying to create another Jack Sparrow type character through her, when ultimately they needed to make another Pirates of the Caribbean movie and have Jack Sparrow pass the torch. Could have been a daughter. It could have been a whatever, and have Jack Sparrow pass the torch to this character. And then when you're 3-4 movies in, Jack Sparrow makes a return and it's a big deal. But if they're just going to reboot the whole thing, the only way that this kind of works is if she's a different character and then Jack Sparrow still makes a return at some point to sell like the 4th movie because everybody's burnt out of the bullshit that they've just produced for the last 4 or 5 years. So normally I'm like, fuck this female stuff. Why are you swapping things out? I actually think it's the right play if they're going to reboot something. Even though nobody's asking for a reboot.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it.
So that's my take, is that I don't have a problem with them swapping female lead in. That's whatever to me. And she is a good actress, and she'd likely do a fantastic job. For me, it's like you just said, nobody fucking asked for a reboot to this franchise is not even that old. And we're rebooting it already? Like, because my question is, if you're going to reboot this franchise ever, it should probably just be in a long time from now. Because for the same reasons you just mentioned, Johnny Depp is Jack Sparrow, full stop. Replacing Johnny Depp with anyone especially this close to him having done the role, is fucking crazy. The only reason that those movies made it was because Johnny Depp was Jack fucking Sparrow. That was it. It's probably his best role he's ever done. Yep. He embodied that character. So my response to this is just don't fucking reboot the series.
That's the thing. That's the problem. It's Pirates of the Caribbean is a huge part of the theme parks. Johnny Depp is getting older. His name has been thrown around the mud, even though, a lot of it wasn't his fault.
Dude, Amber Heard's going to fucking prison.
Yeah. I mean, it's the issue is, man, Disney's Disney, and the show must go on. And sadly, Johnny Depp is used goods at this point. Whether it's the right thing or not, it just the reality is, and they're going to want to continue their franchise. Like, what's the point of having Pirates of the Caribbean all over the world, and you can't make movies anymore? They're not going to bring it to just a TV show. They've got Disney Plus now. They're going to want to put content over there. Johnny Depp probably doesn't even want to fucking do it anymore. And he's old. They need to figure out what they're going to do for this franchise for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Because they're doing it. Like, it makes sense to what they're doing in terms of putting her in there and everything. But for me, I understand the business side of it. But for me, this is like rebooting. I mean,
when did the first one come out?
Oh, 2003? Yeah.
So it's been
16 and change, basically.
Yeah.
Well, since the very first film.
Yeah.
But it's only been what since the last one? 5? 6?
Maybe 4? Nah, it hasn't been that long. It's been like maybe 4 years.
So it's just weird. It feels so like the first movie happened that long ago, but the primacy effect or the recency effect, or primacy would be first. It's so recent that it just feels awkward to say reboot. I'm trying to think about what the comparison point for that would be. It would be like.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, it's either they work out a deal with Johnny Depp, they do another one, or they reboot, and it looks like they're just rebooting. I would have loved to have seen them done another one, introduce the new character, have Johnny Depp pass the torch, have something big and meaningful happen to his character.
Yeah, I'd rather something like that instead of a reboot, because then you don't have to like axe everything that happened before. The character still exists within canon, which is the only reason the fucking franchise means anything.
Well, my guess is he still will exist, and Johnny Depp will be asked to come back at some point. And you're gonna go, oh my god, it's Jack Sparrow, but it's the new Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? Like it's and he won't. It won't be. It'd be like a Star Wars thing where Lando just appears for a thing to sell tickets and to help out the main character. But anyway, it is what it is. Fuck Pirates of the Caribbean too.
Mr. Black, you know what time it is?
It's tech support.
Every week, ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/lagtv. If you want to be able to ask us some questions every week, we post up on Patreon before the podcast. You can answer or ask your questions, and we do our best to answer as many as we can. This week is going to be a bit short because Geoff is short on time, but we will make the best of what we've got. And thank you so much for those who continue to support us on Patreon, keeping this bad boy going and asking all these questions as well. Man, I'm hungry says, hey guys, long time no see. I just woke up from a 6-month long sleep. What did I miss? Not much, but probably should go back to bed.
Yeah, go back to bed. Wake up in like another 6 months.
Yeah, you got some time.
Life might be going then.
Yeah. Kimmett says, aside from your family, who has had the most positive influence in your life? There were, let's say, 2 teachers early and one or 2 profs at university. And then outside of those, I would say, Like in terms of like somebody older than me having a positive, like I guess like in that role, like it's probably that, because it's not like I've had mentors, right? Like it's not like because I've not been in a field necessarily where you have like
a mentor.
So there's not like the usual role of a mentor in that sense. What about you?
Good question. That's not family. I don't know. Because I'm sort of the same, like, I don't know. Like, I've listened to a lot of books and different things like that, that I've gotten stuff out of. But I never really sat down and thought, like, a mentor. Or like somebody that's sort of I've looked up to. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you can think on that one. And while you're thinking about that one, I'm going to make us...
I mean, there's no teachers that I like that come to mind that like really
had an impact.
Had like an impact where I'm like, man, thank God we crossed paths, you know? I don't know.
Will asks, what goes on your ultimate burger? I'm just here burger? Making myself hungry, but yeah.
So we're going with bacon. Cheese.
What kind?
Just orange cheddar.
Okay.
Just regular ass cheese.
Okay.
Grilled onions. Hot sauce. Ketchup. Pickles and jalapenos. Done.
Sounds spectacular. Sounds like a real nice sinus opener.
Yes, and I'm ready for it.
For me, bacon, lettuce, tomato, but you only put the tomato on when you close the burger up. Otherwise, the tomato gets warm and watery and fucking weird. You want the tomato to be cold because then it's like a contrast to your burger and you don't have the weird fucking mushy tomato. So, and it's got to be a tomato with strength, not some weak ass tomato. So, lettuce, tomato, pickle, bacon, cheese, cheddar like you, mayo, ketchup, mustard, and that's like my good. That's just my standard burger. I do like specialty burgers. I also like caramelized onions on my burger as well. But yeah, nothing crazy fancy. Not American cheese, no. Cheddar, actual cheese.
Give me some cheddar.
Not a petroleum byproduct, but actual cheddar.
Yeah, I don't want that processed sliced garbage.
Yeah, no.
Give me some real shit.
I don't want Velveeta cheese up in my shit either. Shady asks, what was the worst punishment your parents ever gave you, and what did you do to deserve it?
Worst punishment? I've said this before.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You probably have. Probably.
I think probably more than once. Talking out in class, so I get my report card, and my marks were never like amazing, but they weren't bad. So I was like an average student, and there was always a comment, Geoff is talking out loud, trying to be the center of attention, class clown. My dad used to hate that shit because he was like, you're interrupting the class and people that are learning and blah, blah, blah. And it's just who I am, look what I do for a living. You know what I mean? It takes certain type of person to do this, or at least the way I do it. And he punished me one day and took me upstairs and took everything out of my room, every fucking thing, except for my dresser with my clothes. And I had one of those old school desks that was like the wooden desk that had it was a one-seater and it had that little wooden thing in the front. And you just kind of like sat into it. And he had that, and he gave me a stack of printer paper or loose leaf. Wasn't printer paper; it was one with the lines, and a pen. And then he said, "Write out. I will not talk out in class, front and back, and go." And I just did that page after page after page after page. And he took everything out of my room. We're talking the video games, the TV, the toys, music, my ghetto blaster that I had, anything and everything that was not my bed, my dresser, and my chair. And here's the kicker. It's gone for a month. 30 days.
Yikes.
Not a weekend. Not a full week. 30 days. Not only that, he allowed me to go outside, but I had a curfew during that 30 days. I don't remember what it was. Might have been 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I could not go out until supper was eaten and my homework was done. And that was the show. 30 days. That's punishment, dude. And I was like, fuck. I don't even know what grade it wasn't junior high. It might have been grade 6. Might have been grade. No, it wasn't grade 7. It was probably grade 6. So I was like getting ready to go into junior high. And yeah.
I got 2 weeks, all games taken away, same treatment, curfew. Actually, it was longer than 2 weeks. It was like 3 weeks. All games taken, curfew and everything. And it was during the summer, which really sucked because school wasn't on. So I was stuck. I was stuck inside a lot, and I didn't have anything that I was able to do. I could go outside for short periods of time, but my curfew was hella fucking early. I don't even remember what I did, is the crazy part. I just remember the punishment. I don't even remember what I did, but it must have been something fucking fierce because normally my parents, you know, they would, well, it was rare for me to do anything particularly crazy anyway, but it was rare for my parents to really lock me up in the house. Like they wanted me the fuck out the house. So I don't know what it was, but it was 3 weeks, no games, everything was taken out, no TV, crazy early curfew, and in the summer months. So it was just like half of my summer just shredded during school. That was early in life though. That was probably like late elementary, early junior high, like so somewhere in there. Probably I think in elementary school sometime. But whatever I did, I fucked up. Seth asks, tuna fish from a can, yay or nay? I'm
going to say nay. But I don't mind it, but it's not something I go and it's not something I go and seek.
No. I mean, we always have it in the house. It's a go-to for me. If I can't think of anything else for lunch, it's relatively healthy. But it has to be skipjack tuna because every other can has like 700 fucking thousand tons of mercury in it. And so
glistening as you open the can.
Yeah, you open the can, it's just like, oh yeah,
mercury.
I could put this in a tube outside and read the temperature.
Yep.
So, limited amounts, but you know, I'll crush an entire can of tuna. If I'm working out a lot and I'm trying to like fill gaps in the day, that's not an uncommon thing for me to do is just eat a can of tuna. Oh, for me specifically, I can answer this really quickly. Black Jimmy says, which panel would you rather hang out with, a panel from Terrace House or from the Love Wagon? Iori. Terrace House every time. 2 comedians on that panel, they're fucking hilarious. Everyone on that panel is a god.
Bro, did you watch the show? The Love Show?
No, M doesn't even want to look in the general direction of that show. Otherwise, I mean, I'd still have to consider it because that shit's a dumpster fire. But
bro, it's a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire.
It took me a lot to convince her to watch The Tiger King. I don't know if I can follow that up with that show. It's a bit challenging. Here's the last question that we can do. Prime asks, because we've got 4 minutes. Prime asks, which Win Cheese Fail series was the most fun to create and which one was the most stressful to create?
Like stressful, I don't really recall one being more stressful than the other. The only time it ever really got annoying was when we just didn't have enough replays to put out a quality episode.
Yeah.
So like we would look and skim through like
hundreds
of these things. Like it got to the point where Adam would come over to my house and we would just sit there for 2-3 hours, just like loading up replays and then just clicking the fast forward 8 times speed just to see how it opens. And it's like the same shit. But not only that, a lot of the times they're not even when cheese fails. Like people are just sending in like just random replays. They weren't properly labeling shit. So like that was frustrating. The most fun I've had doing a series. Honestly, probably, man, I don't know.
For me, it was the first season of it because it was new.
Yeah,
and we were really, it was new, but it was everything at once. So the channel was just taking off because of it. Everything was a new idea. We didn't have to hunt for replays very hard because everything was new. And coincidentally, the first season was the season that we got the most varied replays.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and we tried to do things too, like we were trying to be creative with like
like how we were going to shoot things and music and
exactly, like we were trying to do a few things.
But that was also mainly because the games were so unique. We could do those things. After a while, it get to the point where not every game or not every When She Fails we did could have like a fucking queen migrating across the map meme or like the fucking fail sign showing up, or like us dying watching Niskel cannon rush the wrong base, and other like various things that we did. That it was a perfect storm at the time. The channel was just taking off, so we were having fun with that. The only stress that came with it was whenever we rendered, we never knew if a black screen was randomly going to insert itself. We'd have to re-render it, and it took forever because our hardware was just ass, and it took so long to fucking put videos out. But otherwise, that was it. The first one, because it was where all the creativity was. It's where all the, not just from us, but from the fans sending them in, where all the creativity was. And,
you know what? I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay.
Just because you already picked one.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the When Cheese Fails first ever cold cast marathon.
That was my other one I had in mind.
Because that was fun. Because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. It was like that time, because everything else before that, we pretty much knew what the games were doing to a degree. What we would do, and even in the later years, I would watch like the first 2-3 minutes when I knew what type of cheese it was, and then I knew it was unique enough that I would never watch it through, because I want to be able to cast it in a way that I don't know how it's going to end or what's going to happen. I just want to make sure that there's a cheese and that it's unique enough that it warrants being an episode for a 10 episode series. But with the cold cast marathon, I didn't have to do any of that. And I was really the one that did the vast majority of the technical stuff when it comes to almost all of the stuff that we've done on Light TV. So I was the guy that did all the camera stuff for the most part, unless it was very specific. And I previewed. Now, Adam sat there a lot with me, especially in the early times, kind of going over the stuff. But it got to the point where I was just fucking going through it. And then at least Adam didn't really know what was going on, right? So at least one of us had,
because we had people asking a lot, like, or claiming that we were scripting everything ahead of time, which was true to a degree for like one or two
season
in the first season
episodes for specific moments, but nothing. We never. The only times we ever said like, oh, we're going to talk about this was when Adam would be over my house and we're going through replays, or we're just talking for an hour and just shooting the shit, and then I go, okay, just shut up and save this for the for the cast. Because we would start talking and it would be like being on a Light TV cast where we're laughing with each other, telling jokes. We're like, whoa, hold up the fun bus. Don't waste this magic right now. We'll bring up this subject, and we'll continue this conversation when we get on the episode. But that was as far as it ever went. Light TV was never scripted, ever. Never. And we've never in the history of ever had anybody, we told anybody, because I've had this too, where people have, not much, but I've had a couple people message me and say, hey, did you ever get people to play a certain way to create an episode? Where you have like, Joe Blow versus Joe Blowy, and one guy's Zerg and one guy's Protoss, and have this guy do a specific build so that it's unique and entertaining, and then kind of go. Never, ever have we ever messaged somebody or had something set up in a way. Just
to give you guys an idea of how far we went to try and make this work to the best of our ability. We literally had community members when we still ran the website build from scratch an entire database that sorted replays, had a rating system where we had editors show up to rate replays ahead of time because we were getting thousands of replays a week. We had a repository of replays and an entire system put in place to sort and download in batch, in bulk, in single, in whatever we needed at any point in time, because we had community members that thankfully were able to program, and that was how we got replays for like 3 years, was all through that system. And so, we always went out of our way to try and be completely off the cuff whenever we possibly could.
Because it's tough enough. It was tough enough for us. It wasn't really that tough, but it was getting to the point where we started questioning ourselves, like, how much bullshitting can we do? Like, I actually don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we got to cast like 6 games today. I literally don't know what the fuck. And if we knew what was going to happen or had some kind of previous knowledge, it took away what little bit of off the cuff shit that we could discuss in game at the very least. So when we casted StarCraft, we only ever really casted. There were times where we had little periods where I started getting better at the game, and then I kind of wanted to take a little bit more of an analytical role and kind of sound smart. So I kind of picked that up as I got better at the game. But for the most part, it was just 2 dudes talking shit. And then we were like, oh, StarCraft's happening. And then we would just talk about the random shit that was happening in the game and then right back to whatever story or topic we were talking about. That's what it was, as StarCraft for us has always been. So we tried our hardest to go in there with the shaders on and then just let the magic ensue. Yeah. And we managed to make it work for a long time. So you guys are crazy enough to watch him. So
the 10th anniversary of Lag TV is October the 28th of 2020.
It is.
It is indeed. In the midst of this bullshit, 10 years, still going. Squeezing that stone for the blood. And as for what happened to the website, to cap that off, I had direct contact with Andy, who was the webmaster for us with that site for years, and I kept in contact with him, and I never had the capacity to take the website off of his hands and host it somewhere else to do any of that. And eventually, he just stopped responding to my emails, and I haven't talked to him in what has to be 4 years now, minimum, maybe 5. And so that just disappeared. And now I have no idea. I don't know where that it's sitting on a fucking hard drive somewhere, the website with the database and everything, but all that stuff is gone. And unfortunately,
why didn't we start the podcast 5 years ago, Adam? 4 years ago.
Well, we talked about it.
I know. Fuck me. We fucked up.
We fucked up bad.
Fucked up real fucking bad.
This show would have been literally 10 times bigger than it is now.
Oh my God, yeah. Because we just would have been able to do the exact same shit, and but we sold this at the end,
We did.
Yeah. Well, you live and you learn, right?
Anyway.
Missed opportunities.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Geoff has a missed opportunity here, because we're 6 minutes past.
Yeah, they haven't called yet, so we're good.
We're good. But that's going to be it for this week's Technical Alpha podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, catching the show live, listening to us on iTunes and anywhere else where you can find podcasts. You can grab the RSS feeds off the Patreon page, patreon.com/lagtv. I've got them all listed there, so you can grab them if you want. Also, technicalalpha.audio. That website does actually exist, and we'll have the stuff there as well for you, I believe, unless something has magically happened to that website. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there from all the Space Godzilla nonsense. And until we see you then, peace!